Oh my god. I honestly have no idea where in the world should I begin with this episode 11 review of Erase. This episode just blew my mind. I was wondering how in the world would Satoru actually get out of the trouble that he was in, last week. But then again, he actually did get out of trouble because we learn now he was in a coma for 15 years and just so much has happened. So much went down during that time he was asleep, in a coma. And we learn, how all these characters have now, grown and changed. To me, that just blew my freaking mind. And so we see now that the episode itself, it started off focusing on Satoru's mom. And so of course, I'm thinking that, is it possible that, Satoru did die that day and, maybe now, will follow his mom? Because obviously, Yashiro, he has no reason, to kill his mom in the future now. So maybe now we could see what she does, possibly. And so we see, how she worked this normal job in some store, and then we see, every day, she goes home. And so then we see, one day while she was cooking, she actually went to this room and then I know where you see her show this very genuine reaction, and we see now Satoru, he actually woke up 15 years later. It's now 2003, and we all know that the series itself took place in 2006. So right now we are still 3 years before the current timeline that we saw when this series first started. And so right now Satoru, he has now gone to a hospital, and we see now that during those 15 years, every day for 4 hours, his mother was taking care of him. She would wash him, she would make sure his muscles never got too weak. And we see now Satoru, he actually lost so much weight, obviously, because his body could not get the full nutrition because he would sleep for that long. So of course he looked kind of sick and skinny. And one thing I noticed that during the opening, we have this story of Yashiro, where we learned that back when this guy was in the 6th grade, someone had gave him all these hamsters because this girl, she could not take care of them. And so Yashiro, this sick bastard, he actually filled the bottle with water, and he dumped all these hamsters in there, and most of them drowned except for one. And this survivor, he actually named him Spice. And so right now he was going on about this story of the spider shred, how one day this sinner actually saved or spared this spider's life. So some spider in heaven actually lowered its threats so that way he could climb up from hell and get to heaven. But we see now that when all these other sinners were also trying to climb up, that's when this guy started kicking them off, and that right there caused that thread to snap, and that right there made him fall back to hell. And so right now, Yashiro was saying that these people that he can see these threats attached to, he actually kills them, which is why we learn how in the world he had picked these targets. And so we see now that when Satoru was now waking up in the hospital, obviously being checked out by a doctor, we see that same day, I'm guessing, we have Kenya and what's the name? Hiromi actually coming to visit him, and we see now, Kenya. Kenya to me still look the same kinda, but Hiromi finally looks like a dude, which is definitely a good thing because I'm pretty sure this guy would definitely not want to grow up, looking feminine, all his life. And so right now, one day where Satoru was doing, some rehab, because right now he could barely walk. That's where we have Kayo, coming to visit him. And when Satoru, actually sees her, for the first time in so long, you just see all these tears coming out from his eyes because this guy was feeling so much emotion, during that time. And so we learn now that the Kayo, she actually married Hiromi, and to me, I'm not gonna lie, that right there completely, like, to me, that right there came out of nowhere, because you would never think, Kayo and Hiromi would like would ever get together. Now, to me, like, now, I would think it maybe Kenya and Kayo, but Hiromi and Kayo came out of nowhere. And I do hope, that we will see, that the other boy with the glasses and the boy who was like hanging out with Aya, and hopefully, and hopefully we can see Aya as well, because right now 2 of his 3 victims, they are alive and well. 2 of them actually got together. And so to me, I do wonder, like, so to me, I do wonder what happened to Aya, and what in the world is she like doing now. And so right now we learn now that obviously Kayo and Hiromi that they actually had a baby, and it seemed that Hiromi, it seemed that when he first went to go visit Satoru, that right there might have been what he wanted to tell him. And I do wonder, exactly, like, now that Satoru does actually, now that Satoru actually, remembers everything, I do wonder how in the world does he feel about Hiromi and Kayo actually getting together. But we see now that they had a baby boy, and obviously this boy will like grow up very feminine looking, just like your father, because he had long lashes. He actually had long lashes despite being a boy. And so right now we learned that his name is now Mirai or Future. And so we see now at one point that the baby, he was like actually crying, but then we have Satoru actually reaching out for it, and then we see now that when Satoru and the baby hands actually touch, that's when that's when the baby actually calmed down. And so right now, Satoru, he had now go back to his room, and once again, we have the doctor coming in there, and we also learn now that the paparazzi, they're actually going around like trying to get pictures of like Satoru, because for some reason they actually want to like slander him, and to me that right there does seem very weird. Oh, and another thing that I thought was like very awesome that they did, that during the opening for the episode, we see now Satoru was actually not in it at all, and then at one point, after learning Yashiro's story, during the opening, we see these threads on Omri, Satoru's mom, and also Kayo. That right there was definitely a nice freaking touch. And so now, Satoru, he actually, wants to do, more rehab, because he is definitely, feeling anxious, to like once again walk on his own 2 feet. And so then, like during every time, we have seen, Satoru in rehab, there was this girl always watching him, and then we learn now at one point, this girl name was actually, Kimi or Kumi, something like that. But this girl was like, always looking at Satoru, and we even see at one point, where they were talking, we see that the paparazzi was like taking pictures of him, and then we learn now they were like going to make this like very nasty headline, about Satoru being a boy in a man's body, being an interesting little girl. But then we have Yashiro come out of nowhere, and we see him now taking that camera, ruining the film, and he told them to get out of there. And so now, to my surprise, actually, we have Yashiro actually going to Satoru, because luckily Satoru memories, they still haven't come back yet. But we had these two talking, actually bonding somewhat, because we learned now that 5 years ago, Yashiro, he actually got married. And now he has a new name, because he was now adopted into his wife family. And so we see now, this guy is now a councilman, because his father-in-law, he was in charge, but then he died, I believe, and that right there, allowed, Yashiro to actually, get that job, even though he is still very new to this. And so now, so now we have, what's the name? What's the name? Shotaru, there we go. Oh my god, I cannot believe I forgot that. But now we have, Shotaru, getting close to like his to the guy who had like tried to kill him, once again. But then we see now, Hiromi, she was now involved, in this because Yashiro was actually, pretty close to her because he actually met her at this like charity event. And so we see now that this little girl, her surgery was like now slowly approaching, and then we have Shotaru who actually want to go see her one more time, and then we see out of nowhere that what's the name? Yashiro, he actually had on these gloves. So I'm thinking, is it possible that this guy is like once again trying to like kill somebody because maybe he sees that threat on that little girl, which is why he actually got so close to her. But we see now that when Satoru was like gonna go visit her, he actually stopped her, and then we have Shotaru want to like talk to him, and so we see now he actually want to go to a place where they can like be alone. And so right now we have Yashiro pushing Satoru along in his wheelchair, and we see him now taken to like to some like shady area. And that right there let them go to an elevator, and obviously after that they had went to a roof. And once again, Yashiro, he really hasn't changed because why in the world is he like wearing those black gloves? And then we see that he also still has that little finger tapping habit. And so we see now that when they got to the roof, it was now raining, and so we see now that right there did kind of like ruin Yashiro's plan, because maybe he was like planning on killing Shotaru, where maybe it will not leave a trace. But now with it raining, that right there might be possible. But then we have Shotaru come out to him, and he finally says that like he has memories back, and sadly that right there is where the episode ended. And so I do wonder how in the world can Shotaru actually deal with Yashiro, because right now he is like still very weak. He cannot walk that well, even though he is getting better, because we saw that the rehab, it was like definitely paying off. And so I do wonder, because at one point in the episode we have Kenya and that reporter that had worked with with Shotaru, kinda, 3 years in the future. So I do wonder what in the world are these two planning, because it definitely seems like, him and Kenya are definitely working on something, because maybe Kenya knows, that maybe Kenya knows that 15 years ago Satoru did end up in a coma because of the real killer, and maybe now he actually wants to pay Satoru back by like helping him out. But for some reason I definitely feel that Kenya and the reporter will definitely play a big role next week in the finale. And so as always, let me know what you guys thought. This episode just shocked the hell out of me. I like to me, I am still shocked by all that we saw and learned now, because so much has changed, 15 years, into the future, that I definitely wonder what would happen to like Satoru now, because I'm pretty sure everybody, wants Satoru and Kayo to get together. But is it possible that like, Satoru will like get one more chance at like I do wonder if it's possible will like Satoru get, one more chance at a revival, to like go back in the past and make sure this time, like things work out for him, and that way he could like, end it with Kayo. Like I doubt it, but at the same time, I'm definitely down with like that idea. But as always, don't forget to let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really helps me out. And as always, you guys take it easy. I will see you all next time.